Hello, gentlemen.
Hi.
How are you?
Great. Really good.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
I mean, Tal, we interviewed many, you would remember, it was 20 odd years ago, I guess, 1999.
Years ago, yeah.
You know? And Randy, of course, come across you many, many times over the years. I guess you have to buckle the seatbelt back in. If we're back on, this is the Randy Bachman after show.
Yes.
Here.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in today.
Happy to be here.
A George Harrison record.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
A couple of things made it happen. I was invited 3 years ago to John Lennon's 75th birthday in Liverpool and did the whole Beatles tour thing, the bus, Strawberry Fields, and got my hair cut in Penny Lane, the barbershop. And the next day, Julia brought brownies. It was John's birthday. Gave everybody John glasses. It was very cool.
First of all, what kind of brownies? And
chocolate brownies full of walnuts. He didn't like birthday cake.
So no weed, nothing like
No,
that?
no.
Okay.
And she was giving these to children. And so that was really great. And I thought, gee, what can I do to celebrate George's birthday? He's coming out 75th in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I had done an album, I don't know, long ago, maybe 8 or 9 years ago with Burton Cummings, back in Cummings Jukebox, where we each picked 5 or 6 songs that we used to put in a quarter and get 3 plays for a quarter. And after I did my Chuck Berry and Bo Diddley songs and he did his, I wanted to do a George Harrison song and couldn't outdo the way the Beatles did it.
Yeah.
So I took Happy Just to Dance With You, which George sang in Hard Day's Night, and did like Clapton doing Layla. Before this dance is through, I think I'll love you too. I'm so happy you dance with you, that kind of thing. And everybody liked that because it was a reinterpretation done in a different style. So I then embarked on doing something for George's 75th birthday, getting about 50 songs, finding ones I could sing, restructuring them, and then trying to redo them like Lenny Kravitz did American Woman or Junior Walker did these other, like treat it a song to a song, but give it a whole different set of clothes.
Yeah, because if you go close to it, it's going to be really, people are going to listen to it.
Well, you can't rewrite the Lord's Prayer. That's why I didn't do My Sweet Lord. But in some, we've sprinkled George's solos in different songs.
Right.
So when we do a different song in here, you'll hear doo doo, and it's over a different song. It's over Don't Bother Me, or one of George's lesser known songs. So there's little sprinkles of George Harrison solos throughout this, and George Martin productions and things backwards and echo loops and old Mellotron. We had a lot of fun doing this. So like, take any band kind of in a certain age range and say, go into a studio and record 12 Beatles songs. Well, you kind of go nuts doing that and make them different. So we don't know what they are.
What did you think when you heard about this project?
It sounded pretty exciting to me, and it was cool to see Dad so passionate about it. And then I heard some of these arrangements, and really great stuff.
Were you, at any point, did you give him notes on how to do it?
No, he kind of just did it in the studio with the guys in his normal band. But now I'm playing along with them. So
that's amazing. What are you going to play first?
Well, I'm doing all these George songs, and I'm thinking, what's it like to be George Harrison? Between Mount McCartney and Mount Lennon. Yeah. You show up at a studio, they got 30 songs each, they kind of collaborate or collude with each other, and maybe after a couple of days of that, they say, hey, George, you got anything? And he'd go, I have a song called Taxman, or I got a song called this and that. And between these two mountains, he grew to be just as big. It's like the first time we saw the man Sullivan. We used to sing Elvis up front or Gene Vincent or somebody and a backup band. Suddenly there's 3 guys standing there singing. Yeah. And suddenly that changed it for every band. The drummer wanted to sing Ringo songs. I sang George's songs throughout, all the Guess Who and everybody else. So it was like a natural thing for me to do. So I thought, how does George fit in between these two mountains? And I wrote this song in the middle of the night with the ghost of George beside me, sending me these lyrics. So they are not my lyrics, but I'm claiming them.
All right, go get it.
I channeled them. Okay, Between Two Mountains. There's an inner light, just let it shine. Angels in flight, through space and time. I learned to wait, my time would come. I'd celebrate, 'cause I was the one. Between two mountains, between two mountains, between two mountains, my light will shine. Between two mountains. mountains, between two mountains, between two mountains, my love will shine. Hallelujah, love is the answer. Hallelujah, love is forever. Hallelujah, love is the answer. Hallelujah, love is forever. There's peace within. Just close your eyes. Breathe in the power and just realize we all need to love and get love back. Brothers and sisters, we are all that we have. Between two mountains, between two mountains, between two mountains, our love will shine. Between two mountains, between two mountains, between two mountains, my love will shine. Hallelujah, love is the answer. Hallelujah, love is forever. Hallelujah, love is the answer. Hallelujah. Thank you.
How's the show going?
My radio
Yeah,
show?
your radio show.
I just got renewed for year
Yeah,
13.
Year 13, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Did we start at the same time? I think I'm around that too.
I think we did.
Yeah.
Mine was a joke. I was replacing Danny Finkelman's 45s.
Yeah.
And I did for the summer, a 10-week summer thing. Yeah. I lost $600. Got to rebuy vinyl because all mine was crackly. And then they had to work to rule a strike.
Yeah.
And they called and said, can we do your... can we rerun your 10 radio shows? And I said, sure, I don't care. Am I getting any more money? They said, no, we own the shows. I said, well, go ahead and run them.
Yeah.
And then they did the fall book and took the rating and said, well, you're the #1 show. Do you want to do this all year long? And I said, you mean a real job?
Yeah, yeah.
A real job? My dad would be so proud. I kept saying, get a real job. And so that just started out. And here I am, year 13 now.
That's what it was, the opposite of how you were to him, because when I interviewed Tal back in the day, Tal told me that you called him and said, quit school and be a musician.
Yeah. Get out of school.
Get out of school. And didn't you say, don't play in your rugby family team because it's going to mess up your guitar?
Oh,
your
yeah,
hand?
mess up your fingers and all that.
Yeah, well, it was more than the family rugby
Well, he was
team.
doing like real rugby, like those lunatics with no pads. And you know what I mean? They pile on each other and they punch, and then, like Richard Harris in that Wild Life or the Sporting Life. And
Well, that was an important part of my life. I had to go through the rugby phase.
The rugby phase? Why
at
was
the
that?
end of the day, it's like dislocated neck and a twisted pelvis. And
That's what you had?
No, I didn't have that.
he had a concussion.
Making the story a little bit better than it would be.
Why was
well,
that?
I mean, I did get banged up. You always do. But
Did it hurt your guitar fingers?
I did break a finger, yeah.
Did you? Why was it important rugby?
Well, you know, it's kind of a long story, but, you know, I'm trying to think of how to make it concise. Well, you know, I just gotten divorced and, you know, things happened. So I was like, you know.
Were you in a tailspin like that?
Now
kind
is
of
the
thing?
time to go smash people. And, you know,
Legally,
what
not,
can I say?
not have anyone call the police. They
That's right.
clap. These two guys collide, they clap.
But listen, that's a thing. That's a moment when you decide, okay, I'm looking at my life and I'm thinking, I need to change this up dramatically.
I need to go play rugby.
Had you played rugby before?
No.
Bro.
But you just show up and, you know, you're in. So
And then when did you tell him?
Well, I grew up playing violin, so you can't play baseball because you bend your finger back, you can't play.
Right.
And then that stayed with me all through guitar years. You hurt your fingers, so it's really great. No hammering, no sawing, you know, all that stuff.
That sounds like an
I
excuse.
said, Mom, I can't do dishes. They'll take the calluses off my fingers. She bought me my own rubber gloves and said, "Do the dishes." You know,
So he's constantly
Ukrainian mother.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. My mom used to make me do that when I was 5 with the rubber gloves.
Yeah.
So he's constantly trying to keep you connected to music. Did you always want to be connected to it?
Well, I wasn't like I was disconnected from music. I just, wanted to go play rugby. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't see it as mutually exclusive. Yeah, I was always musical growing up. Yeah.
Yeah. But is it always something that you wanted to be a part of?
Well, definitely. Well, I mean, I have lots of other interests, but yeah, I mean, that was the decision I made when I was young, and I felt like I was, maybe had some talent in that area. I wanted to see what would happen.
Right. And when you watched his musical career develop, what were you thinking?
Well, it's kind of neat. That just like the family business kind of thing. I remember I'd go on tour. I'd come home like at 2 a.m. and creep in the house and go in the living room, and my records would be all over the floor, Beatles records, and I figured, well, it's got to be him. And in the morning he'd wake up and say, "What are you doing with my records?" And he'd said, "I'm studying."
Oh.
And then he'd sit down and play piano like Keith Jarrett, and then he'd play drums like John Bonham. Then he started to play guitar like Joe Pass and Eddie Van Halen. It was like a very natural musical ability he had, and then start singing, writing his own songs. And
I mean, you were on the road for so much of the childhood that it must be really nice to have this kind of, making the radio show with him.
And we work on the radio show. My daughter there, Lorelai, does my my social media and stuff.
She's
She's
right
here
there.
filming, taking pictures.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a nice family affair.
Yeah.
What do you want to play next?
We're going to take a George song
Yep.
and reinvent it. I'm not even going to tell you what it is.
Okay.
But when we start to sing along, I want you to sing along.
Okay.
This is the thing we do with the audience, right? Okay. How does this go? Okay. 1. You ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Though you've gone away this morning, you'll be back again tonight, telling me there'll be no next time if I just don't treat you right. You'll never leave me and you know it's true, 'cause you like me too much and I like you. Yes, you like me too much and I like you. You tried before to leave me, but you haven't got the nerve to walk out and leave me lonely, which is all that I deserve. You'll never leave me and you know it's true, 'cause you like me too much and I like you. Yes, you like me too much and I like you. I really do. And it's nice when you believe me. If you leave me, I will follow you and bring you back where you belong. 'Cause I couldn't really stand it, I'd admit that I was wrong. I wouldn't let you leave me 'cause it's true, 'cause you like me too much and I like you. Yes, you like me too much and I like you. La 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 la, 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 la 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 la. 'Cause you like me too much and I like you. Opa! You can see I've seen the Gypsy Kings the night before. I wrote that little intro and did that song.
It's fun to be able to work a lot of Beatles riffs and other little sounds into this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was doing Between Two Mountains, or what can I put in here? And I saw Paul talking in a documentary about George Harrison. Like, what did he bring to the Beatles? He said, here's what he brought. like 3-4 notes.
Yeah.
And it's like, it makes And I Love Her. Like his guitar solos they were composed. They're like you get another guy to compose something to fit over what you've done, and he just filled in the gaps and did an amazing job of playing all the right notes at the right time.
You've been the front person, and you've also been the guy that had a front person.
Yeah.
You know, so you can understand in a way, what George would have experienced being in a band with another person.
Yeah.
And what did you learn from both, or the differences between the two?
Well, they both have it's like being the quarterback of the receiver.
Right.
It's all a team effort. Like I couldn't have done this album without my guys, my band and everything, or go on the road and do all this stuff. So you realize you get together a great a team as you can, the giants, and then you get to climb up and be on the shoulders of giants. And people go, gee, he's really up there. But if you didn't have those shoulders to stand on, these guys crouching down and kneeling, making a pyramid, where the guy crawls on top, it wouldn't be that great. I mean, I'm no Bruno Mars or Clapton or Timberlake. I'm just the guy from the north end of Winnipeg who got like a little team together, and we played and played and played and got better and better, and then got lucky.
Yeah, but you also, number one records in 2 different bands. Like, I mean, you're not just that guy from north end Winnipeg.
Well, my motto is you never give up.
Yeah.
And plan B is stick to plan A. So you just stick to it and keep going and going and going. And I'm almost between 2 mountains now, the Guess Who and BTO. We are born between the mountain of good and evil, and you got to choose this path. And sometimes it's the wrong path, and you slide down, you got to go to the good path and kind of walk that way.
Which is the evil one? Which is the evil one?
I'm not telling you.
Just by not telling us, we know which is the evil one.
Well, things change. I mean, when you fall in love, she's the good mountain, and then when you're not, she's the bad mountain. And you might be the bad mountain.
True.
Who knows?
Are you talking about you and Burton? Is that what we're talking about?
Life.
Okay, that's Burton and you then.
Burton, my exes, who aren't from Texas.
Is it? Are you a reflective guy?
Yes, I've had a couple of years of reflection when my manager, who's standing over there, and my lawyer, Stephen Stone, who are both Buddhists, had a intervention with me.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean? About what?
They invite me to lunch in Yorkville, and I go down, and they go, "This is your intervention." I go, "What? You're angry all the time. You're pissed off all the time. You need to empty your mind." I said, "My mind hasn't been empty since I was born. There's always music going. You need to sit in a dark room and chant Om or Soho or something like that, and clear your mind and give everything up. Give it all away. Don't carry regret with you, because it's a burden, and it's stopping your forward progress." So like with meditation and all that kind of healing and yoga and all that kind of stuff, it really changes your world. And this album was quite changing for me, because I look at like what George Harrison did and John Lennon put their careers on the line to sing a song like Give Peace a Chance and War is Over If You Want It and Hare Krishna, Hallelujah, and All You Need Is Love and stuff like that, and to tour with Ringo for a year, and every day he'd walk on and off stage, peace and love, love and happiness. And that's kind of what the Beatles did. And I guess I've got to that point in my life where there's nothing left. I mean, the guitars, the money, all that stuff doesn't mean anything. I say it in the song, give love and get love back, brothers and sisters. That's all we have.
Dude, when someone sits across from you and says this is an intervention or a version of that, it's a very daunting moment for the listener.
I said, for what? I don't do drugs. I don't drink. What kind of intervention is it?
No, but they said that was the problem.
Yeah.
You need to start
Try
drinking.
this.
Lighten up. You didn't want to hear that. Were you angry when you heard it?
I was a little angry, a little confused. And I said, like, what do you guys mean? And then they very gently, these guys, like really gentle. I mean, you punch them, they go, thanks a lot. What did you mean by doing that? Well, you know what I mean? I reassessed.
That's interesting.
Like, I'm used to busting my face, my heart, my soul, putting out an album and have somebody say, some reviewer. Or some guy who's forced to come and review a concert. He doesn't want to because he's supposed to, it's his wife's birthday or something. And he's forced to come to your concert because the other guy's doing another concert and you're a lesser concert.
The whole system's
and
fucked
he gives
up.
you a bad review.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he'd say, well, I went to see these 5 fat guys on stage, or 4 fat guys, BTO, half a ton of rock and roll. And he doesn't mention the music. He just mentions that we're the boys next door who are a little chubby.
Right.
Not that we'll cut your lawn if you're an old lady or take your garbage out and that kind of thing. We're the guys next door. They just slam you for no reason, and it really ticks you off.
Is that one of the reasons why when I listen to your radio show, I love that you love music? Like I don't listen to it ever, and I don't hear a bad word about something. It's always this enthusiasm. Is that where some of that comes from?
Yeah, I try to find good in everything. My cup is always half full, and still.
But that's new. The half full thing is new.
I kind of always felt that, but then when it was really brought to my attention that I needed to work on that, because as you go throughout life and you're walking on glass and it's kind of okay, then suddenly you realize I'm bleeding.
Yeah.
It's either your feet or your heart or your mind or something. And I've had several health issues. So did my band. We've had personal issues where guys are breaking up, and get to a certain age where you or your spouse or your kids are all facing the world, and the world is like chaotic right now. That you just got to reassess where we're going and what our leaders are doing with these bombs and fighting over oil and land and the automatic weapons is just insane.
Did Tal call you and say, join my rugby team?
Well, I couldn't do that.
No, listen, the world is insane, and the world was insane when the Beatles were writing those songs.
Yeah.
There was the...
JFK had been shot when the Beatles came out, and there was Vietnam War, and America still had one war or another, or two or three, all the time. So maybe this album will bring some lightness. I mean, last Sunday I played George's birthday, Sunday morning breakfast with the Beatles, with Stevie Van Zandt and Mark Rivera, who's always in Ringo's band. A bunch of guys. The night before we played Les Paul's and celebrated George's songs, and everybody's kind of loving it. It's kind of, the Beatles music is so lighthearted in a way. It's just like a little kid drawing an arrow going, Georgie, I love you. I love your show, George. Strombo or something like that. That's like real pure love when a little kid draws with a crayon a Valentine, that kind of thing. Yeah. Not a guy sending you 2 dozen roses or your wife or chocolates. Right. It's something that really is special. So
not the grand gestures everybody posts about on Instagram. It's the little things that mean so much, right?
Yeah, it's the little things.
I love it. You want to play another song?
Yeah, you want an oldie?
Yeah, what do you got? I mean, look, dude, you've got a million, so which one do you want to play?
Well, I was told you wanted a classic.
We like classics, for sure.
Okay, so we'll do Ain't Seen Nothing Yet in a lower key because it's early in the morning. Okay. Oh, we're even out of tune. Sounds like the original. I met a devil woman. She took my heart away. She said I had it coming to me, but I wanted it that way. I think that any love was good love. So I took what I could get. Yes, I took what I could get. She looked at me with her big brown eyes, said, you ain't seen nothing yet. But baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. Here's something that you're never gonna forget. But baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. And now I'm feeling better, 'cause I found out for sure. She took me to the doctor, and he told me I'm a cure. And here's what he said. He said that any love was good loving. So I took what I could get. Yes, I took what I could get. And then she looked at me with her big brown eyes and said, you ain't seen nothing yet. But baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. Here's some loving that you're never gonna forget. But baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet.
That counts. I also would have accepted four-wheel drive. I would have also accepted that tune. I love that.
Wherever you go, whatever you do it in four-wheel drive. That's my intro.
I love that. I love that.
Thanks.
Nice. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Good to see you.
You too. Thank you.